Hello and welcome to Female Voices. We are here, both
Yeah.
of us, your host, Teresa Reiniger.
And Wayna Beery.
And today's conversation is going to be one that almost every single person will face at some point, and very few of us feel equipped for it. We're going to talk about what to say to someone who is grieving and also what not to say, because grief is one of those spaces where words can feel so inadequate, and yet they carry so much weight. I think most of us can remember a moment where someone said something that really comforted us, and also moments where something was said that just didn't land the way it was intended.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed both personally and through women I work with is that people aren't avoiding grieving individuals because they don't care. They're avoiding them because they don't know what to say. So today, we want to take the pressure off and just have a real honest conversation about how to show up in those moments.
Yeah, I love this conversation because it's so real and so needed. And you're exactly right. Most people have good intentions. They want to work. They want to help. They want to say something meaningful. But there's this fear of, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I make it worse? And so what happens is people either say something that comes out a little awkward or minimizing, hurt them all, or they say nothing at all, which is, almost as hurtful.
Yeah.
And for the grieving person, that silence can feel incredibly isolating. It can feel like people disappeared right when you needed them most. So today, this is really about giving people permission to show up imperfectly, but more meaningful.
I think one of the biggest reasons this feels so hard is because we've been conditioned to believe that when someone is in pain, we need to fix it. We want to make it better, easier, find the right words that somehow take that hurt away. And grief doesn't work like that. Grief isn't something that can be solved with the right sentence, the right word. It's something that needs to be witnessed.
Yes.
And when we don't understand that, we end up putting a lot of pressure on ourselves to get it right instead of simply being present for people. And I can even think of times in my own life where I hesitated, still do this at times, to reach out to someone because I don't know what to say. And looking back, I do realize they probably just needed to know that I cared about
Yeah,
them.
yeah, I get that. I think that's such an important shift, moving away from what do I say to how can I be present? Because when the focus too much on the words, we miss the connection. And I can just think of myself. I know, gosh, so many of people that I know, relatives, church members, family, they just didn't, or friends, they didn't know what to say. So they just didn't call me, or they might send a emoji or something, or I'm praying for you. But as a person who's one of those grieving people, we do want to know that you care, even if you say it imperfectly, long as you want to be present with me, long as you want to understand where I'm at. So the truth is, grief makes people uncomfortable. It's making us uncomfortable to walk through it. So I
Yeah.
think we both have a similar level of uncomfortability with that. It reminds us that we don't want to think about loss, change, we can't control. And we know we can't control nothing on this side of the sun. It just is what it is. And sometimes, we want to see what we say is actually more about easing our own discomfort. Isn't that the truth? Than truly supporting the person in front of us. In some ways, that can kind of show up things that I've heard anyway, or just like God needed another angel, that's a way of making us kind of, it's very warm and they just floated away or something. And it doesn't really give the griever any comfort really,
Yeah.
because they're missing that love. But once you understand that, it helps you approach these moments with a little more awareness and intention. Just know
Yeah.
they have love with nowhere to go. And so, if you think of yourself just loving something and losing something very valuable, you might be able to,
Mhm.
relate to where this person is
Mhm.
in our journey.
Yeah, relate little bit, maybe.
Mhm.
So let's talk about some of the things that are commonly said. And again, I want to approach this with compassion
Mhm.
because most of these come from a good place. People aren't trying, they really are trying to help.
Mhm.
And sometimes these phrases can unintentionally minimize what someone is feeling. One of the most common ones that people say is, everything happens for a reason. And while that might feel comfortable for for a belief,
Mhm.
for just, you know, a second or a standpoint in a moment of grief, it can feel really dismissive because
Mhm.
the person isn't looking for a reason that they're sitting in pain. So another one we hear
Mhm.
often is they're in a better place, like what you said earlier. And again, that may be true for someone's belief system, and it
Mhm.
doesn't take away the reality that they're no longer here. The grief is in the presence, the absence of that person, and
Mhm.
it's very present to that person. And
Yes.
then there's the at least statements. Oh my gosh, the at least statements.
They hurt so much.
At least they didn't suffer. At least you had them for some time. Or at least because I work with a lot of people that have
Mhm.
that are younger with families, at least you can have more children.
What?
These statements, mm,
Yeah.
even when they're true, because some of them, yeah, they could be true that, yeah, you can have more children, can
Yeah, I
make
think we should
someone
look at 'em.
feel, make you feel like the grief is being dismissed
Mhm.
or compared. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think we need to look at those a little bit more, those. When the person says, "At least they didn't suffer," what the griever hears is, "You shouldn't feel this sad."
Yeah,
That's what you're
yeah.
telling me. At least you had them, you had time with them. So again, you're telling me though, that
That was enough. You don't need any more.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm good. And
yeah,
then especially you can have more children. Then it says, okay, which one of your children would you want to see die? You know?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So when I don't know that they take, step back and say, hey, this is what you're really saying to me, that
yeah.
I shouldn't be as sad as I am. I
Mhm,
should let it go. Or
mhm.
you're telling me that my emotions and my sadness and my grief isn't safe with you,
Yeah.
you know.
And I don't think that's what their intent is, for sure, but
Mhm.
it's what they say, and you're right. We just need to know how those land and
Mhm.
how that's received, for
Yeah.
sure.
And
Yeah.
another one, you gave us our at least,
Yeah,
words and sentences,
yeah.
but another one is just saying that they know exactly how you feel.
Mm,
And
mm.
even if let's just go with, an example of even if, like, it was both our kids in a car accident and they both lost their life, Lord, knocking on wood, we still are gonna feel completely different about that, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Even though we have that shared trauma, that shared grief. Maybe my kid had got on my nerves that day and I had fussed at them on the way out the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I might
yeah.
have another layer of some grief or some guilt or
Sure,
shame or whatever. So I'm just using that as kind of example that
sure.
just even me and my husband both losing our son, we both do not we are completely opposite ends on how we feel about that death.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
I'm just using those as examples.
yeah.
So I understand why people say that. It's an attempt to connect with us. But grief is so deeply personal.
Mhm.
Even if you experience loss, it's never the exact same experience. So, some more supportive way to approach this.
Yes, let's hear some of those because 'cause we've gone kinda low here, a little, like,
Bring it back
negative.
up. Let's bring it
Here we
back
go.
up. You know,
Let's do it, let's do it.
um, okay. I can't fully understand what this is like for you,
Mm,
but I care about you and I'm here.
that feels warm,
Now, I don't
and
know if you've
good.
ever had somebody say that to you when you experience some loss or some lost transitions.
Mhm.
I have. And it's really just like a breath of fresh air when it comes. Because
Yeah.
it might stop the griever in a moment in their tracks, like, I can fully share. The tears might dry up right then and there, and they might just be like, so and so was the greatest person. This is what I
Mhm.
remember, and it might change, how grief is landing on them in that moment.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they leave space for their unique experience instead of unintentionally overriding it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then there's the phrase of, let me know if you need anything. This one is tricky
Yep.
because it sounds supportive, but for
Yeah.
someone who's grieving, they often don't even know what they need. And that's
Yeah.
so true. That's so
Yeah.
true. They're overwhelmed, exhausted, and just trying to get through the day.
Mhm.
So let me tell you, I had a friend though, that a friend named Janelle. She's one of those people that didn't really ask what I needed, but she knew just from having buried her 2 cousins the previous year before, because she's kind of the matriarch of her family.
Mhm.
So she already knew what the steps were, right? To
Yeah.
planning a funeral and all these things. So she just said, "Okay, I'm here. I think, and she gave me some guidance. She gave me some practical steps. Okay, Wayne, what do you want to focus on today? And here are 3 things. We can write the obit, how would you want his life to be shared with others?
Mhm.
And I think I just talked because we're on the phone. And she came up with the summary. She's very, very smart. And she
Mm.
came up with the outline and things like that. She researched funeral homes for me.
Nice.
She ended up finding Buckham. They were amazing. And she found that they paid for kids' funerals for free.
Nice.
So those are the things that people need when they're just in this earth-shattering experience
Yeah.
that they can barely put words to. And I share that story just because those are some things I wouldn't have I know I need to, maybe I can chat GPT my list or whatever, but
Yeah.
having a friend there to
Yeah.
guide, to help, to throw out options, not pressure, not, just gentle. I'm here,
Mhm.
breeze, and that's how she was in that season. Her and another friend who does event planning, who, had the birthday party theme and everything.
Sure.
That friend, I didn't have to tell anything. I just said, this is what happened. She said, I got you. Send me pictures. That was it.
Nice.
2 weeks later, she was at the church with everything.
Yeah.
But just
Nice.
seeing those, and her name's Tawana. Tawana's amazing too. I mean, she just pours into people with a love. Her and Janelle, and
Mhm.
other many, many people out there. That's just how they showed up. They just stood in the
Mhm.
gap. So instead of putting the responsibility back on the griever or the
Mhm.
person who's in distress, the person who's experiencing this loss, this transition,
Mhm.
it's much more helpful to offer them something specific.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I just wanted to share too that you had said that, they're exhausted and all of that. And we know that physically and biologically, there's so much cortisol being produced at that time that brain fog is real. And I think a lot of people don't realize that they physically
Mhm,
cannot make all of those decisions. And so, super important to
mhm,
really step in and do those and just don't even think about it being wrong. And so, if we can take away that pressure to have those perfect words. What does it actually look like? And we talked about this
mhm.
showing up in a meaningful way. It
Yes.
really comes down to simplifying the simplicity and the sincerity, like your friends. Some of the most powerful things you could say are incredibly simple. And we hear this probably most often. I do have grievers say, if one more person tells me that they're sorry, but it is something that I think people truly are. So I'm sorry is one of
Mhm,
those things.
mhm,
My heart is with you. I care about you. Even saying I don't have the right words and I'm here for you can
mhm,
be so comforting
mhm,
because it's honest.
mhm.
It removes that pressure and creates connection. I don't know how many times I've gone, especially when it's loss of a young person, a child,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
I have just said, this just sucks. This just sucks. And it allows the griever to be like, yeah, it does. And like she gets it
Mhm,
and she understands. And
mhm,
that's super important. So, another really powerful thing is acknowledging the person they lost by saying, I'm sorry about your mom, being very specific with it.
Mhm.
Or I heard about John. That acknowledgement matters, and it shows you're not avoiding the reality of what they're going through. Super helpful and healing for them and during that time.
Yeah, and I just love when you said inviting conversation instead of forcing it. I mean, I've had someone say to me, "I don't know what to say, but I love you."
Yeah.
I don't I don't know. Or if they know, because 'cause I'm a communicator, so if I'm grieving, I'm sad, you're gonna know. You don't know. And they might just be like, tell me about Joshua, somebody who's never met my
hmm
tell me about him."
Yeah.
And just sharing, me, I got 1,000 videos and photos, and just walking through memory lane with me is something, that's,
Yeah.
deeply touching and warm.
Yeah.
I went with my Aunt Donna because she lost both of her she's my aunt-in-law, Josh's auntie, Donna, but she lost both of her boys, and so she has their T-shirts, she has their name everywhere, she has photos
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, and I'll just be like, "Show me. Tell me about them. What's your favorite thing? What do you miss the
Yeah.
most?
Yeah.
How are you seeing their personality show up in the grandbabies?" Just inviting
Mhm.
more.
Yeah.
So something, just if you feel like sharing, I love to hear about them, or what's the hardest part for you lately, and being actually present, not rushing it,
Yeah.
not forcing it, not dismissing it, just actually listening, waiting to hear that. And I know I talk about Poppy a lot, but Poppy is a person who does that. Daughter, tell me about it. Just, tell me about what's going on. He
Mm.
ain't checking his phone. He ain't playing solitary.
Yeah.
He don't even know where the phone is. I'm gonna just say that up front. That's why my mom, my mom was like, "I've been calling you back to back." Bless his heart, though, bless him. He's not a multitasker,
Need
but
to be probably more like that, but
yes, because we miss those connections, but that gives the grieving person permission to open up,
mhm.
but it also respects where they are. Some days they may wanna talk, and some days they may not,
Yeah.
and so just being a person who may not wanna talk about that, but I just wanna be in fellowship, I wanna be in I
Mhm.
need a physical person sitting next to me so I don't think about the people who are missing. I've had people like that go take a walk with me, because 'cause I'll walk, I'm not gonna run, but I'll walk. I'll walk all day,
Mhm.
and so they
Mhm.
just take a walk with me and talk about anything. Those are the most powerful connections for me.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to support, being specific is everything. So instead of saying, "Let me know if you need anything," you could
Mm.
say, "I'm bringing dinner by Thursday,"
Mhm.
which is what Janelle did, what Robin did,
Mhm.
Kathleen tried to order a whole where the meal card where everybody drops
Yeah.
you off a meal every day or whatever.
Yeah.
Other things. I'm free Saturday if you want company.
Mhm.
That's huge. Now, I haven't had that. I ain't gonna even lie. I had to force like, "What are we doing this weekend? I need fellowship." So
Yeah.
I've done that, but I haven't had anybody that just said, "Hey, I'm free Saturday if you want company." I always want company. I love my girlfriends. I love to do it, if you haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
And some other things. Can I help with errands this week? Nobody has
Mm.
ever said that to me either. I'm just putting that out there for people who
Oh.
listen, and you're
Yeah.
related to me and we're friends.
You want those 2 things.
If you had not saying one of
Let
these
me
4
let
things I just said.
let me repeat that. I'll bring you dinner. I'm free. Do you want company?
Right, right. Can I
What
help
else
with
did you say?
errands?
Gonna help with errands? Okay. All right.
Those kind of offers remove the mental load and make
Yes.
it easier for someone to receive support. Now,
Yes.
I am a person who has done these things. So, like one time I was just talking to my friend Janelle, and Janelle's amazing. She takes care of her brother. Her brother is a dependent adult. And she was just having a day. You know what I'm saying? Just a
Mhm.
day. It could have been the week.
Yeah.
And I said, "Girl, I'm bringing dinner over tonight." Cause she always cooks all their meals and everything due to his health.
Yeah.
She wants to, keep everything a certain way. And I was like, "No, I'm just gonna cook." I was like, "Do you have any dietary restrictions and all of that?" And she was like, "I
Yeah.
don't care."
I won't feel well from eating that, but you just cook it and bring it.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I made like chili or something. I made
Uh-huh.
chili. I made a salad because my friend Shannon, who's a foodie that I talk about too, she taught me how to make this larb salad or whatever, and it's really delicious. So I made a
Mhm.
salad and I made chili, and I always cook more for like 5 people instead of 2. So they had leftovers and all of that,
Nice.
So she was
Nice.
just so it helped me because this
Mhm.
was a season after my son had passed. It helped me. It gave me something to do, somebody else to love on.
Yeah.
And it also helped her. She didn't have to ask. I just said, "This is what I'm
Yeah.
doing. I'll see you. What time y'all eat dinner at 6? Okay, I'll be there before then."
Yeah. Yeah. And from someone that doesn't, I can cook. I tell my husband, like, when the girls were little, I cooked all the time. And so now I
Mm,
feel like I
it's
don't like
exhausting.
to cook.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so now if people want things, or I feel like I want to take food to them, I mean,
Mhm.
you can go anywhere to get food that's already cooked. Like a lot of times I'll pick up a rotisserie chicken and maybe some,
Right.
I don't know, potato salad or already pre-made salad or whatever. So it's really pretty easy to do that. And that's what I do. Like at my church, they do a funeral brunch and they say, Teresa, can you help? And I'm like, I'll bring you the ingredients for the salad. I can,
Mhm. I love that. I love it. If you took
you
the
guys put it
time out of
together.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, figure that out.
Yeah. Or I'll bring you a cheesecake. I'm just picking it up at the store. And so they love it though, because I'm still supporting in my own way. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is whatever works for you, just make sure that you do support. But one of the biggest things too that we find though is that support fades after
It
the
does.
first couple weeks. There's an
Really?
outpouring a lot of times with love and all of that, and then life moves on for everyone else, but grief doesn't follow that timeline. So one of the most meaningful things that you can do is continue to check in,
Mhm.
send a message like weeks later, remember those important dates, and simply say, I was thinking about you today, is super important.
Yeah, I have a friend like that, Kathy. Kathy remembers all those dates. So she's one
Hmm.
of those people. It might be the week before, it might be 2 days before. She'll be like, "I'm thinking about you." Like,
Yeah.
I know the date's coming up. I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
And she actively watches for ways to support me too,
That's
so
nice.
she's online, like, "Is she okay? Do I need to check in or whatever?" She'll
Mhm,
send me a random text once a month, "How's life? How are you?" Those kind of
mhm.
things. She's very, very intentional like that. But I did wanna say, Teresa said she cooked when she was young, when the kids were little, and she's over it. But let me tell you, ladies, at her bereavement retreat, she
Mhm,
took care of those ladies. She had
mhm.
everything you can think you wanted there,
Yeah.
'cause she's a holistic person. So when she takes
Mhm,
you, she takes care of the holistic and she goes above and beyond of thinking about ways to make everyone feel
mhm.
comfortable. So I have to give Teresa her flowers while she's here.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
It's when people can feel the most alone. It's when people feel the most alone. Everybody life went on. Even some of my
Mhm.
friends and family, a year later, and it's been 2 years later, but I'm still dealing with the grief of my son.
Sure.
Even though other people are not grieving him like that because he
Yeah.
wasn't, their day. He wasn't
Right,
their life and all of that. So they kind of
right.
moved on. So but it's still mine, I'm still in it. So at times, sometimes it's not even about having a conversation. It's just about sitting with someone, being present, allowing silence, just knowing someone is willing to be there without trying to fix anything is
Mm,
incredibly powerful. Even my son's birthday was last month. And so I'm grieving, I'm upset. It's just life because things just seem to bother you more in those seasons. You're more
mm,
irritable, you're more sensitive. Everybody wanted to fix it. They wanted to understand. They wanted some, for lack of a better word, toxic positivity. Like, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not
mhm.
happy right now. I'm sad, and that's okay to be sad. It's a human emotion.
Yeah.
I'm not sad where I'm jumping off a bridge. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sad, and it's okay to miss him in this season. It's okay to,
Mhm.
to mourn him right now. So
Yeah.
just learning, I think that grief ebbs and flows as we always talk about, and just people not trying to fix because everybody wanted to fix it this month. I'm like, let it go, let it go.
Yeah.
We're gonna sit with
Yeah.
it.
Well, and I think with everything else,
Mhm.
we do try to fix it. Like we fell down and we broke our arm. Well, we got to fix that. We had a car accident and there's our fender's all messed up when we got to get it fixed. So everything else, it seems like in our world, it is about fixing it. And so it bleeds into grief as well. And that is the biggest thing, I think, is people do definitely need to realize you can't fix this.
Yeah, but you describe physical things that people would automatically see that need support.
Yeah. But that's what we usually go with. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but when they see the tears in the
Yeah.
they don't think that that needs support. They're just like, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And then if you don't see tears, because I'm not a crier, I don't
Yeah.
cry very easily. It takes me a long time to cry. So if I am sad, you wouldn't automatically know it unless you ask me a question because I'm still going to work. I'm still trying to keep up with
Yeah.
my responsibilities. I'm still doing all
Uh-huh.
the daily things. But that doesn't mean I'm not grieving either. So
Yeah.
I think I try to at least with the people in my circle, I'm like, just get curious. Just ask. Don't
Yeah.
assume that they're good or not good. If they're barking or snappy or whatever, just ask, what's going on? Are you good?
Yeah.
You need anything?
Yeah, most people need that realization that people do change when their emotion change and be in tune to that.
Mhm,
If they're snappy, if they're kind of a little more negative or saying things, that there's probably something going on.
mhm.
And just really ask about it. So I
Yeah.
think if there's one thing we want you to take away from today, it's this. You don't have to have the perfect words. Grief doesn't require perfection, it requires presence to be with people for sure.
And your willingness to show up, even imperfectly, can make all the difference for someone who's hurting. That witnessing, that validation, that presence. Yes, like Teresa
Hmm.
said. Yeah.
Yeah, just be there. So saying something simple, saying something real, just don't disappear on people because at the end of the day, people may not remember exactly what you said, but they will always remember that you were there for them.
And
Mhm.
if you're the one grieving right now, we want you to know you are not alone.
Your grief is valid. Your feelings are allowed. Definitely with Oina and I. And your story matters. And we are here for you to validate your grief, to listen to your stories. We are here for you.
If this episode resonated with you, please follow us on Facebook. Please inbox us on Facebook. Please share. Let us know how this landed on you. Share it with someone who needs to hear this.
Until next time, be safe